first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
Bada bang. It is another Monday. Hey guys, I apologize in advance. It appears that I'm having some microphone issues. I want to try to stay up on this mic so that you can hear me. Hopefully I sound okay. Anybody got me a 5x5 out there? Tell me if I actually sound decent or not. But we got a full house. Got all kinds of people up in here. Andrew, Kelly, Mike, Mr. Battle Gnome. I mean, you name it. We got everybody in here. So how are you folks doing out there in social media land? I'm doing decent. Started a hey, Patrick 7, what's going on? Seth Triplet, what's happening, dude? I started a new, thanks, Guy. Guy says I sound good. Hopefully it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just the guys on this show. They don't like how I sound, but everybody else says it sounds good. So we got Burke Spring. They said 4x4. Good enough. I mean, I'll take what I can get. 4x4, 5x5, whatever. Close enough. I just started 3 days ago the rejuvenation kit from Mineral King, and that was with Pat Miletich, the UFC champion, and Will Spencer from Mineral King. That's what they've got for pushing heavy metals out of their system, out of your system. And I got to tell you, these past 3 days, day 3, I am feeling pretty good, y'all. I'm not even kidding. I was kind of skeptic. Billy Bond with Permapastures Farm, he was on it. He said he feels great. I don't know. I'll keep you guys up to date. We're supposed to get back on a show with Pat and Will in 30 days to see, well, one, if I'm still alive, and if I'm still alive, two, that how it worked. So I'm excited about it. But down below, of course, is our resident go-to gear guy, the Triple G, Mr. Brian Loftus, back in the house. How you doing, Brian?
What's up, everybody? How we doing on this fine Monday night?
Cool. And then, of course, directly over to the next to me, I got to apologize to this guy because we're on – well, there's a lot of apologies I owe Nick. There's a lot of apologies I owe Nick because, one, Nick is he's a Mountain Readiness OG. He's been around since the beginning, and it's the first time he's been on our live stream, and we've been rolling for over a year now. So my apologies, Nick, for not having you on here sooner, because that just sucks on my part. But welcome to the show, man. What have you been up to?
Oh, just keeping busy, doing lots of, just between work and the grandkids, I've not had a lot of time to get other things done. So trying to get things done.
You know what, though? I mean, grandkids, when it comes to grandkids, that's time well spent. You gotta have that time. I'm the same way. I love the grandbabies. And I even tell all my kids, my oldest daughter, she was, every time I go see the grandkids, she's like, "Hey, Dad, I love you." I was like, "Look, I just started liking you after 26 years. Now give me my grandsons." Like, I didn't even like you guys all the way up until like a year ago. So, but the grandkids, that's a different story. That's a different story right there. But Patrick 7, what's going on, dude? He says, let's see, I've been started to take a supplement that's made from oregano oil and a few other things, and I feel great. It helps with inflammation, respiratory health, blood flow, and some other junk. LOL. Sweet. Oregano is a very highly overlooked, super potent herb. Did you guys know that? Oregano? Were you
I'll
aware
take
of
it in,
how high octane?
I'll take it in extract, an oil extract.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we feed it to the chickens. Like we do like a whole mixture with the chickens: oregano, thyme, rosemary, cayenne pepper, all this stuff. We put it into their feed, and it helps with parasites, and keeps them all healthy, keeps them laying. Even though it's been cold here in North Carolina, again cold today. Um, we've been getting almost an egg per chicken every single day. It's amazing, and I'm gonna say that's the reason why is those herbs really keeps them kick-started, and like Patrick said, it is pre-seasoning the eggs, pre-seasoning the chickens for that matter. Wrong one. Wait a second. Kelly said tequila oil. Right on. I mean, tequila oil, it has health benefits as well, Kelly. I'm going to
You're
tell you.
trying to marinate them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. However, depending on that's some really potent homeopathic stuff too. So you got to really watch how much you use of the tequila oil as well. What the world Mike saying here? I'm on the egg, sausage, ham, bacon, and cheese on a grilled glazed donut supplement. Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, if it
With
works,
coffee.
roll with it.
With coffee. Got to wash it down with coffee, though.
I mean, I literally gained 3 pounds just reading this. Thanks, Mike.
I'm looking forward to some of his chili again. He made some great chili at the last Mountain Readiness.
Yeah.
He had a whole big pot left over. Right, comes down with feeding
huge
everybody.
pot.
It's great.
I haven't made chili in a long time, but the last time I've still got batches from like when I was in Colorado like 5 years ago. I got several cases still.
Well, we were like chili tailgating with Mike. Like he pulled in, we were up front, and he had like big things of vats of chili on the back of his truck bed there, and we're sitting on the tailgate just eating up. And of course, he brought like 50 pounds of cheese, which everybody, if you know me, man, I'm a cheese fanatic. Like it's 50-50 chili, it's half chili, half cheese. It's an equal combination is how I eat that stuff. But yeah, phenomenal. Man, Mike really killed it there on the chili.
Yeah,
for sure.
Really good.
So, guys, folks, I am not the guy. In full transparency, I'm just going to tell myself again, I am not the guy that you want to talk to when it comes to comedy. Like I was just talking to Nick. I was like, look, man, in full transparency, I still have those 8 brand new Baofeng radios sitting on the shelf. Have not studied, have not done anything whatsoever. Like I was just hoping that people still could read smoke signals if shit goes sideways. So Nick, start us off, man. First, I mean, I think everybody knows you that we've got on here, but we have a few people that straggle in and that don't know. Tell everybody about who you are and kind of, I mean, you do a lot of this stuff for a living as well, as far as preparedness stuff. So give everybody a rundown of how you got to where you're at today.
Oh man, now that's too long. That would take up the whole thing.
Summarize.
Had an interest in radios, worked around radios, worked in some dispatch centers, got scarfed away from one to work in the radio shop itself. So I spent 7 years working in commercial radio shop for public safety. Did a lot with encryption back then. Through that, got into emergency management stuff. Did an instructor for a lot of the incident type management courses, planning courses. And then was emergency manager at a very large airport, which was a lot of fun. Developed a lot of exercises. So, actually exercising the plans, which is a big piece that we don't talk about with our plans a lot. Been testing things. It's been a ham radio guy for over 20 years. I can't remember. It's more than 20 because I've renewed it at least once. Started a volunteer team because I was teaching classes in Colorado. That team piloted the computer-based testing for everybody. Actually, we were one of the first teams doing it. And so, here we are today. I started the website, started writing a book on all the stuff, and I thought, it's just going to take me too darn long. So I went the website route. So started the website, started just putting stuff up on it, and it just kind of expanded from there. 2 years ago now, I developed the workbook, the Family Emergency Plan Workbook. That's courtesy of my daughter's idea. I always have to give her credit for that because she's like, Dad, people just don't want to look it up. They just want something they can write it in. Because I looked at all the books that were out there, and there's a lot of books that tell you how to do it, but there wasn't one that says, here's the blanks, fill them in. So developed that, and then from that developed the second one, which is an assessment workbook. So it goes more into the basics of an area study in that you're gathering information. And then with that, you can take that and figure out where you are, where your group is, what you need in the way of knowledge, skills, and abilities, as well as it's also got an inventory program to figure out what you need. And you can say, okay, I want to only start for a couple of months because I don't want to, the big picture, 12 months is just too much. And it will tell you what you need to get started. It will function as an inventory for you. You can expand on it as you go. So yeah, one of the things we talk about is one-time pads, and Corey does those. He puts those out every week for everybody. I was doing it for a while.
About your hold that back up there, Brian. Hold that workbook.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell everybody here. Let me get Frodo the demon dog down off me here. He just keeps jumping around. He's all wound up today. I bought them both from Nick at the last MR. I got the family one, and I've got the personal assessment. You really go into depth with these things, Nick. This isn't your general, run-of-the-mill checklist stuff. I mean, guys, if you don't have this yet, I've seen a lot of these in my time. This goes deep. This goes real deep. Threat assessments, mass search and rescue operations, supply chain integrity and security. I mean, you're checking all the boxes here, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, and one of the things that, Chris got on at me years ago, he's like, how long did it take you to learn that stuff? How many courses did you take? How much time? And because I said, I go over, it's a lot of years. It's a lot of time. And I put it in there, and you've got to do the work. I tell people that up front. This is not, and I've seen other ones out there where like, oh, here you go. Here's your solution. Everything you need to know. They don't, because you're not doing the work you need to do. And I've looked at, and I've been involved with a lot of disasters over the years, and I'll take the most recent ones, right? Western North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all got hit by that hurricane that took that unprecedented route. Your comms are gone. Your street signs are gone. All your landmarks for navigation are gone. And because I get people go, well, why do we have latitude and longitude or UTM, whatever coordinates you want to use? Because somebody actually pinged me the other day and said, why is this in there? And I said, the reason it's in there is, I said, if there's no landmarks, no street signs, how are you going to know where something is? Because a street address isn't really going to help you, especially if your map app on your phone isn't working, because it's not going to, even if you have a phone that's working, it's still not going to be very accurate without the cell tower. If you've got a standard standalone GPS, which I carry in my kit, you're going to be able to use that to get with you, because those satellites aren't impacted by terrestrial landmarks getting wiped out. It's all about having options. And in that book, one of the things I didn't want to fill up pages with how-to. All the how-to in the front of the book, you get a QR code, you get a password, and there's a section on my website that takes you to the how-to stuff. Where do you find the information? Why do you need it? And that's in both the workbooks. There's a lot of extra stuff that's there. The other thing is that every now and again, somebody go, you know what, it'd be useful to have this kind of information. I went, you're right, I didn't include that. And so if I develop another sheet, then that's up on that website, and you can go grab it for free. You know, it's like, hey, there's an upgrade, so to speak. Go grab it. Every now and again, I'll research all the nets, the HF nets, and I'll update those pages. So the original ones didn't have any net lists in it. The latest one, I think it's got 2 pages of HF nets, so you don't have to go, research the ones that I found. So yeah, and it just keeps developing. There's a couple other things that are in the works I'm hoping to have done by, for Mountain Readiness. And it's going to be more on the one-time pad stuff. So it's going to be, I don't want to call it a workbook, but it basically, and I'm just thinking of how to develop it, what's the solution, because if I do it on the laminated cards, it takes up too many cards. So I'm thinking of, I've got like 5x6, I think they are, cards I can feed through the printer, and basically, double-sided with code words on it, abbreviated code words, so you can use letters instead of always spelling out a word, and making those up as a set, as well as some fill-in-the-blanks OTP sheets where it's basically helps you fill them out, as well as some pre-done one-time pads. So the test ones that are out there, the training ones that are out there that Corey creates and I've created stuff from, are well distributed. But we're going to create some for 2 sets. One, anybody that shows up, they can have a set. Here's a set, hang on to it. But then those folks that are on Stump Knocker or what I call the insiders, so Mountain Readiness folks, there's going to be a set of one-time pad keys for you guys that we'll have. So
okay. Now break it down
a lot of
for
things
all the
coming.
dummies, the one-time pad. Go into some detail exactly how this actually works.
So a one-time pad is any encryption key, almost any encryption key, whether it's a book code, which commonly used during like World War II, any kind of code where there is an existing book can be broken. And the way that it works is repetition. That's how you break ciphers. If you use it more than once, it can be broken. Every single textbook in every single edition, anywhere printed, anywhere in the world, are in the software that's used to break encryption keys. That's why they're not very good. A one-time pad only uses the encryption key one time. That's why it's called a one-time pad. You have a set of pads that are keys that are been distributed, and you don't send them by the internet or anything else. They're generated with a random generator, and we'll have some there to show you because there's a couple on the market. There's one on the market, and it's the original one, and it's now being produced. NC Scout now sells it. It randomly generates a key, and so you take your letters, your words, and you convert them to letters, which is a standard kind of matrix thing. So the common letters A, I, O, U, T, N have a single digit. Others either start with a 7, like so 70 through to 89. Anything that starts with 90 is some kind of punctuation. There's a little card. I should have had a set with me. I've got them. And you just convert the letters to standard numbers. You then overlay that with the one-time pad you're going to use. And then you subtract the numbers. It's 10-base math. And then what you're left with is what you send the message in. The recipient matches that first set of 5 numbers to the key that he has, and then you just writes it out. They add the numbers, and then what they're left with is the numbers from that original kind of matrix, the 71, 72, 82, and then that then is your number. Using code words is basically you take a word and you give it a 4-digit number, and there's a way to do that, and I already have some pre-done. And so what is a, say, 10-letter word is converted to 4 numbers, which makes it much easier to do. You don't have to convert all those letters to numbers. You just got 4 numbers. So that's another key set that it's not encrypted or anything, but we'll have those. We'll distribute those at Mountain Readiness so that folks have them.
Well, Mike over here it sounds like I need that class. He said he got the pre-K lesson from Mr. Genome. I was like, there's where it's at. I need that stupid class right here on this stuff.
So, yeah, I've got to get you a list of classes, but we will do a one-time pad class, at least one offering. Corey and I have been talking about it. He's talking about doing some classes. We'll figure out if he's going to do one, I'm going to do it, how we're going to figure that out. Yeah, the nice thing with one-time pads is that once that message is encrypted, only the people that have that same set of numbers, you can decrypt it. And then the rule is that once you've used it, once you've used that key, you never use it again. And one of the ways of keeping encryption secure, even like on standard radio systems, is changing the keys frequently. The longer you keep a key in use, the more easier it is to break it. So with one-time pads, can't be broken, can't break it with any kind of computer that exists. Even a quantum computer wouldn't be able to, because there's no reference. There's no reference to start.
So, and that's, I remember, I think Sue LaRue was talking about that, of how beneficial those were, because it is uncrackable. It's not a breakable code, which, in this day and age, there could be all kinds of useful things for one-time pad, especially, the world the way it's going, may need them even more. What's this? Yes, I can use crayons if needed to. Most definitely. Please use crayons, very large, colorful ones. That way, no clear crayons either. I can't do clear. Homestead Medical. Hey guys, here's something to keep in mind too. And Chuck, thanks for joining us, man. Chuck Peoples, Homestead Medical. He will be doing a class before Mountain Readiness. And we have tons of classes before and after that are paid intensives. And so, during the event, your ticket, it's all inclusive. Everything is all included in that, except for if there's small material fees or something like that. We have Jess Schenkel is doing like a kombucha making class and fermenting. And I actually talked my lovely wife into doing a soap making class. So Amber's going to be doing a goat milk soap making class, but Chuck, he's got medical class. Brian, you're going to be doing this medical class with Chuck, aren't you?
Yeah, Lex and I are both doing it. I think it'd be a great idea for she and I to actually do a medical class together. And we're also doing tactical rifleman's pistol course as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So remember, guys, these paid classes, man, grab your spot. We've got Chuck is doing one before. We've got NC Scout Brush Beater is doing a commo dummy class, which I won't be able to take. I'm still screwed. And then we've got 5 days of tactical rifleman afterwards. It's combat pistol carbine, the zero carbon mastery on Thursday. I'm going to try to get that one in, because when he's going to take, your rifle, your AR-15 out to, 400 or 500 yards. So, which is great. And learning how to dial that scope in and zero and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be sweet. We've got a ton of classes. Jax Janega is doing a 3-day land nav class. And if I'm not mistaken, if you take the class, you can get a special discount from Survival Gear BSO on some gear necessary for that, like compass and things of that nature. Right, Brian?
Yeah, you got that right. Jax, she's designed most of the, I'd say about half of the school owners that we work with. They design their own kits out of the gear that we have, where they request that we get gear in. I know Jax has 2 of her own kits, and we always try to do a little bit of business back and forth and offer some benefits for anybody taking classes. So we'll make sure we get everybody that discount code out.
Now, and Russ just let me know too. He said he's got the OTRP page pulled up to show, the Russ of Oz. If you want to throw that up there, let's check that bad boy out. Maybe. Maybe we will. Oh,
There it is.
hey,
There
there
you
we
go.
go. So this
Yep.
is it then, Nick.
Yeah. This is one that another group put out as a training set of pads, and that's what an OTP key looks like. So when Corey does the postings, he usually uses a phrase that, like, the birch tree is against, like the chair's against the wall. But these are all have a tree reference. So usually in the opening line, he says that. But in reality, all you need to send is those numbers. And the first set of 5 tells you they're unique. And so it tells you which key you're then looking at. But he gives you a clue by saying something, referencing the tree. In the opening line, but normally you wouldn't do that. You just do it numbers. There's a movie out there called, I want to say it's called The Numbers Game. That is a movie about, it's a spy movie, but there's a lot with OTP in it. And then the other one that's out there that is interesting, it talks, if you're interested in kind of codes and stuff, is The Breaking of the Enigma Code. And I cannot think of the name of the movie, but I will. I can't think of his name now. Cumberbatch is the actor that's in it.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep.
Yeah, it was World War II movie, right?
Yeah, it's about how they broke the Enigma Code. The German
I've
Enigma Code. And I've actually been to the NSA Museum. Actually has an Enigma machine there, as well as a reproduction of the machine that he created to break the Enigma Code.
So now I like how we get people jump on. We got Daniel here. He says, once you get your head around them, they are easy enough. But then right up above that, Battle Gnome, he's like, subtract 9 from 7, so you treat it as 17. Take away 9 equals 8 to the 5th power. Negative. I'm like, what? What?
So,
smoke signals, y'all.
Yeah,
smoke signals.
In the actual the little plastic cards that I have, I don't know if I've got any sitting around here. I have card sets, and one of them is in the OTP set, and it has the abbreviated instructions, but also with it is a matrix that you go 7 and 9, and it tells you the answer. So I devised that because when I was creating them, I made errors, especially if you're doing it, you're tired, etc. So it's basically a math cheat sheet. It's got the numbers on either side, and you go, okay, these numbers, and that's the answer. And Imitation Game. That's the movie. I couldn't remember the name of the movie. Imitation Game. It's usually on like The Imitation Game.
The Imitation Game. Okay.
Yeah. Excellent movie.
I've not seen it.
It's usually on Netflix or Amazon or somewhere like that. It's
I will say that the first time I saw Corey posting on Mountain Readiness, everybody started just kind of and it come up, and it was like, like he just put there with Mel's coconuts, all this kind of stuff. And I've read it, and I deleted the first one. Like, I denied the post. I was like, what is this nut job doing here? What kind of craziness are they trying to throw up on my page? And then I figured it out. I was like,
I think he reached out to me because I don't think he knew you at the time. And he reached out to me and said, hey, can you let T know that these are legit? I went, yeah.
Yeah, I deleted it. I said, what's this spam garbage all over Mountain Readiness page? Delete, denied, and I, my bad, Corey. I apologize. It was an honest mistake, man. It was kind of weird though, if you're not used to that kind of stuff, and just, So your packets too. Now you said that happened. So you had just put those together for the first Mountain Readiness, then, not too long before that.
Probably not too long before that. Yeah. I'm trying to think now when I did the first one, but
this is going to be year number 3.
So
it's year number 3. So
it was not too long before that. Yeah. And so one of the things that's interesting is, and I don't know who else sees it, but across my social media feed now, there is a company that's made a version that fits inside they made it on Write in the Rain. And they obviously found a printer that can do it. And I looked them up, and I went, it's almost exactly the same as mine. And I did some research, and they're actually located in the adjacent state, not too far from me. Um, and they only started last year after the massive AT&T outage.
Right.
And so somebody made the comment about making them pocket sized. And when I first started doing this, I was in Colorado when I first started looking at doing this, and I talked to Chris about it and trying to make it as a pocketbook. I could not find a printer that would do it because most of these print shops these days are just basically photocopiers.
Right.
And I need to find an old school print shop, but then obviously, and I just do it on the side. I don't, have the money to float, ordering 1,000 or more of them, which is what it would take to break into that. One of the things that I have looked at doing, and I'm still on the fence about doing it, is creating some on waterproof paper. So the Write in the Rain paper, but there's a startup cost with that as to whether or not it's worth it, because the cost of that Write in the Rain paper is expensive. And so, it's like, is it worth it? Am I going to get the volume that would justify the expense in getting it? Because I'd have to get a laser printer.
Well, it just so happens though that this dude down here, he's got some hookups in the world of Write in the Rain paper and distribution and things of that nature. So, is that something you can help him out with, Brian?
I sell Write in the Rain products for sure. I can see if I could dig and do a little bit of research and see if I can locate someone who is able to do printing on paper like that.
Yeah, because I've not been able to find anybody, and that's the thing. And to make it pocket sized, which somebody suggested. First of all, obviously you got to reduce it, but the other thing is, it's like, it would obviously double the size of it to have all the information that's in it. And so it's like, okay, so then you have to be selective on what you put in a pocket version of it. So, there's pluses and minuses, and if I could afford to retire and do it just full time, that would be the way to do it. But right now, that's not an option. So it's
it is
something I like to do.
Come with being broke,
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, and I do it because I want people to be prepared. I mean, I've seen so many disasters where, had folks had a plan, they'd at least be a step ahead of everybody else. Whether or not you've got supplies or not makes no difference. You look at the things that have happened, the wildfires and the hurricanes. It doesn't matter what supplies you had because they were all gone, right? What you're left with is, what your plan is and what you have in basically a go bag or backpack. And the biggest thing is having some means of communication to be able to communicate with people. So a couple of the things that I looked into for people that, like yourself, that haven't yet got into the ham radio thing. There's a couple of things you can do. Obviously, the Baofangs will give you access to the GMRS repeater system. GMRS frequencies, which is General Mobile Radio Service. It's just a license, no test from the FCC, $35 for 10 years. One license covers everybody in your family. You don't need to take a test. And then a lot of areas people have put up these repeaters on these frequencies, and most of the time they're free to use. People just, they got the space, they got the money, they put one up. Now, they don't have huge amount of range because they're UHF frequencies. But with a repeater, you can go 20 miles. We've got a couple near me that go 30 miles or more, just because of where they're located. So it depends on where you are, and you can look that stuff up. And my website and go under communications and GMRS. It tells you where to find those kinds of things. But that's part of the planning that you do in that workbook. In my workbook, there's a section on your communications plan, and it tells you how to find that stuff and write it down so you have that information, and then you can program it into your radio. That's one step. So it's going to get you further than just radio to radio, having a repeater. Now, depends on the situation. With the hurricane, obviously it wiped out a lot of infrastructure, but a lot of the infrastructure that was on top of the mountains survived. So that's, one thing to look at, because it was all the water that came down the mountain. So, and yeah, Dan mentioned the plan includes multiple ways to get out. There is a section in my plan that talks about routes and planning. And you can insert maps and copies of maps and stuff like that to do it. So, GMRS is one way. One of the other things that I looked into, and I started seeing these ads for what's called LTE radios. So basically, LTE is your cellular system. So they're radios that work over the cellular network. So I was thinking, well, what's the difference between that and Zello? I mean, you can have a Zello app on your phone. It's exactly the same thing. However, what I discovered is after some research, and they weren't very forthcoming, I had to leverage some things, is their SIM cards that they have work on all the cellular networks. So if AT&T is down and you're within range of a Verizon or T-Mobile tower, you're still going to get service. In the events that we've seen where there's massive cell phone outages, it's usually only impacted one network. Well, it has already impacted one network. It's either been Verizon or AT&T, not so much T-Mobile, where they've had outages. So if you're in an area where there's neither of those are working, this radio is going to still work. Now, there's fees associated with it. If the cell towers are down, they're not going to work. However, bring in Starlink. So what happened with the hurricanes, for the last year or more, T-Mobile and Starlink have been working together. And what Starlink has done has put an LTE payload, in other words, a cell tower, for want of another term, on their new version 2 satellites. And before the hurricane, they didn't have a whole lot up. Since the hurricane, about every week, there's one of their rockets going up with about 22 new satellites on it. So they've been slowly moving in these new ones. During the hurricane, they got special permission to enable that, to be able to send the wireless emergency alerts, so like the Amber alerts, into the impacted area. So if your cell phone, in this case, it's one way, and it went to all cell phones. But because of the partnership with T-Mobile, if you have a T-Mobile phone now and you are out of range of a cell tower, it will work over satellite. Apple and iPhone have been doing something of Verizon and AT&T, but with conventional satellite providers. So your phone has to have the technology in it. With Starlink and T-Mobile, your phone doesn't, because it's using cellular frequencies. So actually, one reason I switched to T-Mobile was to have that capability. So it's another tool. So that's one thing. Let me back up at these other radios. So this is one of the rapid radios, and you can set a group up on it. There is actually
So
yeah, go ahead.
price-wise, just so everybody knows, Nick, what are we looking at price-wise for that setup right there for one, for each person?
All right. So first of all, let me go back to the GMRS radios. Your standard bow fan will work on those. So you're looking at $60 a radio. You can get them cheaper. And I've looked at different brands, and there's some differences, but the nice thing with this, and the reason I went with this, because I could have bought the equipment and programmed it, but I was looking at something that some people could get without having to do anything. So these are $400 for a pair, but that includes $50 a year for service. So they're $350 for two, $300 for two, and you're paying $50 a radio for service. So at the end of the first year, you're going to get a bill for another $50 for each radio. They set you up your own private talk group. So I bought 2 and I bought 2 more. So they're all on the same group. So I can have a group chat with those 4. Or I can select individually 1-to-1 radio. You can also
is there a limit? Is there a limit how many you could put on that group?
It's like several thousand.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So there is a group that's set up called Swamp Rat. So we have Stump Knocker, which is on the ham radio side. We also now have Swamp Rat. So anybody that gets one of these, they can reach out to me, and I can send the company I have a form I just fill in, and they will add you to that group. So now we have the ability to have a group, for anybody that wants to get on one of these. Yep, that's $3.99 for two. Yep. So we just post, and that's So I was going 400 because that was $3.99. I might say 400. So that's I want people to understand you have to have a cell tower, but there's a caveat to that, and I haven't tested it, and because it's not right now, Starlink's not fully enabled the satellite cellular capability. However, these work on the data channels of the cell system. So a cell system has several layers. They have full voice communication, standard phone calls. They have a data channel, which is your internet apps. Think of it as your internet apps. They have another channel whereby your phone is constantly talking to that cell tower, so it knows where your phone is within range of it. So when somebody calls, it knows to route it to that cell tower. And then there's another system that's called the broadcast, cellular broadcast, and that's basically one way. Think of it just like an AM/FM radio station. It's broadcast to your phone, and that's where those wireless emergency alerts go. So these work on the data channel, which means, in theory, if there is no cell tower, and because these have a card that has data or internet capability over T-Mobile, it should work over the satellite system, because the satellite cellular system just sees this as a device with a T-Mobile data card in it. So haven't been able to test it, but in theory, it should, because it doesn't know that this SIM card is any different to your phone. Because on the back end,
so what do we need to do? So we need a disaster to actually test this out and to see if it will actually jump and do what you're saying. Then, all right. Well, we may even have that here today. It's going to be cold tonight. It's going to be in the 30s and maybe even the upper 20s. And they're talking about tornadoes on Wednesday. Like, you want to talk about some crazy weather manipulation, cloud seeding craziness right here.
Well,
like,
and you got wildfires,
some tornadoes,
and you got
wildfires over in Asheville, all that area. So went from being completely flooded out and everything washed away to everything's on fire now. It's insane. And now tornadoes.
And the same things happen in Colorado and California. Not that we really give a rat's ass about what happens out there, but with all the and this is what people forget: you get a wildfire go through. Now there's no vegetation, so when the rain comes down, it turns into mudslides because there's nothing to stop that rain. And so they've seen, they got rain right after those last batch of wildfires, and now they've got a lot of mudslides and stuff going on. So it's just the same thing, in other parts of the country that don't, North Carolina, South Carolina, they don't normally see a lot of wildfires. And so, and the aerial resources to fight wildfires are mostly on the western side of the Mississippi. They're not; those assets are not on this side of the country. So it's got to be pretty big to move them.
No, you're correct, and it's been it's just been brutal here in North Carolina and South Carolina, but North Carolina especially with the floods. They're actually we're getting some mudslides and stuff here now because all the trees were just snapped off clean from the winds, took all the trees out, and now we have the face of these substantially sized hills that are bare because they don't have any trees holding stuff back. Yep. So there's a lot of roads. We just had a road right around the corner from us. Half the road slid off onto 18, and they had to clean all that up. Plus, we just had ice, a real bad ice storm come through here a little over a week ago, and trees and stuff broke off, power out. Our buddy Joe Flowers was out of power for about 5 days, I believe. So, definitely need those preps up to par for sure.
So one of the things I'm looking at doing, T, and I haven't decided yet because there's some stuff going on early April, but it might be that I might be able to come down early and do a class. I usually get there Wednesday anyway, but I might look at coming down or stay a day or so early and doing throwing a class on or something.
Hey, or one after, either or. We can go on either side of it. We've got well, speaking of, I think we still have some Troy's Gate slots with Pete that are available. Let's go ahead and run that promo, guys, because if you didn't catch the what about you, Nick? You going to Troy's Gate the Monday after?
I don't know whether or not I am going to be in a situation that I can this time around.
I got you. We got to get you over there, man, because
yeah, I got out shooting a couple of weeks ago, the first time in some considerable time. I will admit, since moving back from Colorado, and I'm a life member at the damn gun club, but it's an outdoor club, so we actually have a shoot house there. But I went there to take the class to get my concealed carry from Maryland because they're now issuing, and I had a really good instructor who very, very quickly caught on to what I was doing, and after like 3 shots to rebalance, I was nailing everything. So I was really happy with that. But I do want to go take some more classes. But yeah,
you need to get over there. But hey, guys, the Troy's Gate deal. Pete's an awesome pistol. You're gonna get that. You're gonna be able to knock that dust off. Brian, he did that class last May. It was awesome. Pete's a great instructor, and then afterwards, you get to take all that that knowledge that you gained on that basic pistol and actually apply it into real world scenarios. So go ahead and spin that thing out there, Russ.
Dead. Holster your firearm. Outstanding. Shoot. Change the magazine. Change the magazine. Let's go. Change the magazine. Shoot! Figure out, check the gun. Scanning for threat, hold your firearm. Lock the slides back. Pick up your magazine. Now let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Having flashbacks, man.
You start shaking and twitching, and man. Yeah, I got to catch. I never get to do really any of these awesome classes because I'm doing all the other stuff that has to happen. But I do get to sneak in, and a lot of that footage was from me there watching the class. Awesome class, man. Pete does a great job, and
He sure does.
he gives you just enough of that stress inoculation to get you motivated, to get you. To get you messing up a little bit. You got to be, nothing ever happens just, standing still and take perfect side alignment. Nah, man, there's noise and people screaming and yelling and stuff going on. No,
so I was one of the guys when I was in Colorado. One of the members of our group was a former military. Well, so a guy I know who's ex-SEAL runs a school. And we started working with them doing communications and ham classes and stuff. And we got to do some stuff with them. And they've got a couple of ranges, one of which they do simunitions on. So we were able to do that. And then the other guy that was a member of our group out there, ex-military, and we never stood still while we were shooting. We had access to some ranges, and one of them was a some private property. The guy just took a bulldozer and built a range on for us. And none of that was standing still. It was all move and shoot all the time. And so it very stressful and yeah. And then he'd load your magazine and load a few dummy rounds in it, so you'd have jams or misfires to and you had no idea what would occur. So yeah.
No, and Chuck, like he's saying, yeah, stress-induced training is the best way to learn for sure. And Chuck, I am so glad that you are going to be able to go to Troy's Gate, man. You need to, if possible, get oh crap, my brain just went. I just flatlined. The gentleman that you're doing the classes with, the Russian guy. Good grief, why can't I remember his name? Help me out. Throw his name up there, Chuck. But if I know he was busy, but if we could get him out there, I know he would have a blast with that as well. But yes, there was another class I was going to talk about. What was it? We got tactical rifleman. Oh, it is short notice, guys, but we didn't advertise this class because of the nature of the class. But here in Harmony this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7th, 8th, and 9th, we have our good friend Wes Hightower will be hosting military movement. That's happening right here at the Van Hoy Campground. It's not too late to sign up. You can go to rallypoint6.com and sign up if you've got the time to take off. It's going to be a great class. It's going to consist of if you get ambushed from different directions, front, rear, side, in vehicles, and how to move from vehicle to vehicle, how to move as a team, just what it says, military movement. So you're going to be doing all this ridiculously awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to it. If you're not doing anything, come out. I highly recommend doing some training with Wes Hightower and Rally Point 6. Of course, Wes was part of Forward Observer, still is, and Gray Zone. Those guys are awesome at what they do. And of course, Wes has been 20 years now, 20 years Green Beret doing all that secret squirrel stuff. So you're probably slammed, aren't you, Brian?
Slammed what? Just classes and
for time
operating my booth there. Oh yeah. Yeah. I was hoping to get some more time. Lex coming with me, but she can only take so much time off of work. And it's tough for me to take too much time away from work as well. But God, I'd do all the classes if I could. I'm dying to go to one of Wes's classes.
Yeah. Well, no, that's this coming weekend.
Yeah, I know. I was actually on the website right now checking it out.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Andrew said it was hard enough to get up for Alan's class. Yeah, I know. But it's okay, Andrew. Excuses are excuses. So, I mean, I make excuses about not doing any commo, and you make excuses about not training. Whatever. It's all good, man. Do what you got. You do you. So, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a long trip, a lot of stuff going on. But, no, if you guys are available, check out Rally Point 6 and check out that class. It is going to be a really good class. So, man, we are let's see, we need some evening classes for vendors.
So here we
go, Nick.
Yeah, we've done that. So I think it was past October. I can't remember if it was October or May, but one year, I think we've done it 2 years in a row now. We have done an evening ham test. We did it Thursday. I think one we did on a Thursday evening, and then we did another one Saturday evening for some folks. So we accommodated those that wanted to get their test but couldn't, in the Saturday morning test. We will be doing the Saturday morning test that will be advertised, but if there is a need, somebody wants to, get their test done in the evening, we can accommodate that.
You know what would be a great class that we could do at Mountain Readiness as well for evenings is Saturday night we're having a benefit dinner. I haven't released it yet, but it's going to be for the Living Soil Foundation with Billy Bond. He's working to clean up the soil and the pollution, all this nasty stuff that's been washed all over the place in Appalachia. Of course, he lives over outside of Spruce Pine, so we're going to be doing a benefit dinner Saturday evening, and then that's going to lead into one of our Mountain Readiness people are from Texas. Anthony Bonnet will be playing music live right there, and yeah, and so it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. But man, I tell you, Pete, that guy. Hopefully, he bring me some bourbon. I'll come over. I'll come over there and do a little bourbon with you. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, I won't be able to participate.
Eden took your bourbon class and failed.
There was some. I can't remember if it was last year. I think it was last year or October. Pete had some stuff there that I sampled, and that was pretty good. But I am not going to be able to do that this year.
It's not happening, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm not. That was why I didn't. I was hoping to be able to come and take some of the classes. Come early and take some of the classes, but I have to burn up 3 weeks of leave the 3 weeks prior to this event. So I'm trying to work out how I can do that and still keep some leave to make sure I can have Mountain Readiness. So,
well, that's what I got sidetracked reading comments, but we should do. We've got a whole bunch of people that's got night vision for sale, and we've got Mike, we've got Brush Beater. What if like Friday night I'll talk to Wes and see about doing a low light, no light class, just a nods class, throwing on your night vision and low light, no light movement. That would be a cool thing. That even the instructors
I've got thermal
on
up
that
you.
way.
I've got some thermal.
Yeah, I don't have thermals. I got old school PBS 14 greens, just regular old monocular. That's it.
It's amazing the deals that you can make when you have silver.
This is true. But I wouldn't know because you got a free tomahawk. So, but enough about that. So let's see here. It looks like everybody is in on that right there. Everybody's in on a low light, no light nods class. I'm going to, and I know Brush Beater is going to be on site the whole time camping. We'll have Carl. We've got a whole instructor group that specializes in running NV classes. So we could probably put a pretty awesome class after hours, maybe Friday night for about an hour and a half or something.
You just got to make sure that it's pre the adult beverage time.
Yeah.
It's dark enough, but the adult beverages haven't started. Otherwise things can get a little hairy.
Yeah, no, we don't want to. Yeah, we got to make this as soon as it gets dark out. We go for an hour and then that's it. Shut it down. Come right back. Call it a day. Maybe we just keep it in the little grassy area in front of Angery Land, and then maybe we incorporate alcohol. Maybe that's how this whole thing, the class ends.
But you do have to remember. At least I know my thermal does, and I think most of the night vision gear, but a lot of that has video capability. I mean, mine does. It's like, oh, what's this little red flashy light I'm seeing in here? And I'm like looking at the book and going, oh, it's recording.
That is great. So that would be. I'm gonna see what I can do, guys. I'm gonna talk to Wes. I'm gonna reach out to some people, and we'll see if we can put together something like this. This would be a really cool class. Let's see here. I'm reading private stuff over here in the private comments, and yeah, it's gonna be a shit show. Who am I kidding? That's what it comes to. But we're gonna do it anyway. But hey. We're at the top of the hour. It flew by as just quick, chatting it up, guys. Brian, what you got to lead us out with, man?
Well, I wanted to say something about what you said earlier whenever we started here, the ham radio stuff. You haven't studied yet. I got my ham radio license a year ago, and I still haven't taken that radio out of the box to mess with it. So Nick, I'm gonna have to be picking your brain. I'm married to this laptop, man. I don't leave this laptop. So yeah, I definitely need some schooling on it.
And maybe that's one of the evening classes that we do is a practical ham radio class. I mean, I've got software to program most radios that people buy. We can get everybody set up with something basic. We can do some hands-on stuff. You know, we can do something. Because it's like any other skill. I mean, you know, I was hesitant going shooting, having not shot for a couple of years, and I told the guy, "Look, I haven't shot this weapon in a couple of years." And he goes, "But it because I shot a lot beforehand, it very quickly came back."
Yeah,
but it's the same with the radios. You've got to practice. We'll have some frequencies that we'll set up for Mountain Readiness, like we've done the last couple of times, that folks will be on. And just, you know, getting comfortable with it is, you know, we'll have frequencies. It doesn't matter if somebody hears you or not, because we're not going to necessarily follow the rules, because we're in a relatively safe area, low power. It doesn't matter. But you've got to practice it. That's why we started the stump knocking out on Monday nights, so folks can get on and practice. If we get enough folks with these, we can do it on these. Somebody bugged me the other day about possibly setting one up on Zello because it functions pretty much the same, and I just haven't had time, but maybe we'll do that because it functions the same. But you just have to understand, if you get comfortable whether you're using Zello, because you can set that up for yourself and your family, you know, it's going to function the same as a radio. You just have to realize, okay, it works most of the time. There's times when it's not. So that's why we have these other things, and you know, so it's
everybody with some wisdom. You've already threw all kinds of wisdom out there, but you know, we've got bad weather coming again here. It just seems like every year this weather gets worse and worse and worse, more freakish, more off the wall. Like, you know, this whole tornado thing, I'm like, I'm going from freezing to tornadoes in a 24-hour, 48-hour period. It's just nuts.
So if I would say, you know, obviously, you know, get the workbook, fill it in, etc. But even the very basics, get yourself a write and arrange, and I think they're the only ones on the market with a waterproof notepad, and write down all your important phone numbers. Because I can't tell you, I mean, when I was younger, before cell phones, I could have 20, 30 numbers in my head and I remember them all. I can't remember even my daughter's phone number. I'm better. I know the last four and I know the first three. It's the three in the middle I don't quite have memorized yet. And I've been trying to do that because we're so reliant on these little devices to have. Mine's got thousands of contacts in. I've accumulated over the years. But I have two different little notebooks. One is in my go bag. One is in my daily work bag that's got down the important phone numbers that I would need to reach out and to get hold of somebody if my phone gets crushed, doesn't work, there's no power, whatever. I've got, at least if I can get to a phone, I have people I can reach, if nothing else. I mean, start there. And then, you know.
That's great.
If you come to Mountain Readiness, you can pick up my stuff for cash. The books go a lot cheaper for cash because it doesn't cost you shipping, and I'll give you a pretty healthy chunk off. I take silver too. Always deal with silver. Although it's
there we go. So and here's where we can find. This is where we can find Nick. Where else? Where else on social media and all that kind of stuff?
You know, so I have a social media on Facebook. I have one on X, but I'm bad at posting to social media. But I have one on Facebook under Fortune Favors the Parrot, my name and also under my name. And then I post the sit reps when there's something significant going on to, you know, your Facebook page and Angry's Facebook pages. And there's a group in North Carolinas I post to and a couple others. You know, when I'm doing that, every now and again, I'll get a bug in and say, hey, look, you know, go get my workbook. But most of it is sit reps. Most of it is I have access to a very good tool through work that I see a lot of stuff going on. And when I see significant stuff, I'll post something up. I'm not a prolific poster, and I probably should hire a social media influencer to publish my stuff much because other than Mountain Readiness, I sell more stuff at Mountain Readiness than I do the rest of the entire year. I probably don't even do one a month book. So, because
Well, we need
I
to
don't
push that
publicize
stuff too,
enough.
because we need to push that stuff out as well. And this guy down here, we may want to talk to him about that, because he does a lot of those sales things as well.
I'd love. Yeah.
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 Give me a shout. Let's talk.
Yeah, that's what this is about, guys, is networking with like-minded people. That's what it's about right there. So remember, guys, Mountain Readiness is coming up. Get them tickets, get those classes, those paid intensives. Don't quit training now just because, Trump's in office. As we can see, stuff just ain't going that great right now. So, this is in the good times, you need to train even harder. So keep on training, keep on doing the things.
And remember, it's State of the Union tomorrow. That's going to be a riot.
Yeah. Let's check that out.
Some interesting stuff coming out of that.
I mean, this has been an interesting year anyway. It's just been nonstop. Oh man, we got Texas Tony up in the house. Anthony Chippino. What's going on, man? Now you want to talk about sipping a little back around the campfire now. That's the guy to sip with right there. Even Pete can't hang with that stuff. Guarantee you. I've had some of Tony's stuff. That's top notch. That's top shelf. So, but hey guys, next Monday I have got Valena with. She is actually out of Utah, and she'll be doing chicken care, like bumblefoot and all how to take care of chickens. It will be a hands-on class. And then thereafter, we'll be doing hands-on chicken processing at Mountain Readiness. But it's going to be a great show. She's actually from Australia originally, and now she does. She actually raises silver Bellefelder chickens, where we raise the standard heritage breed of the Bellefelder. So it's going to be a great class. And then that following Monday, we will have. We've got Carl Erickson is going to be on with Tactical Rifleman. So, and anytime you get Carl somewhere, it's going to be a wild party. That's a given. So make sure to tune in, guys. But hey, Nick, thanks for being on the show. Sorry it took so long. We'll do it
Anytime.
again.
Do it again soon.
We're looking forward. And appreciate you, Brian, as always, being a part of what we're doing, man.
Love it.
So, but you guys, hey, if you're going to move with purpose. We will see you next Monday. Roll us out of here, Russ of Oz.